All right, it is, ooh, that's my voice. It is 6:38, and I'll call the meeting of the Board of Education to order. First off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, our first order of business is we've formalized our shout outs to a brief moment of recognition. So, each month, the board would like to recognize those students whose contributions or achievements are outstanding, employees who go beyond the call of duty, or community members whose generosity is greatly appreciated. This month, we're pleased to recognize on the Building and Grounds team. The board would like to express its gratitude to Anand Anandson and his team for all their hard work these past few weeks getting our buildings and grounds ready for our staff and students to return in September. Even though it's been challenging work around the capital project crews, the buildings and ground crew members have remained committed to ensure that classrooms, hallways, and grounds will sparkle. The board would also like to recognize students Louis Rossi and Jake Starman for demonstrating great work ethic this summer while working with the buildings and grounds crew. It's a tough gig, so I'm glad that they're doing a good job. And secondly, for staff, the board would like to recognize Mary Claire Waltz and Amanda Chauvin for another great production, for a great production of Jack and the Beanstalk with our annual Missoula Theater Camp. Over 50 students participated this year, and it was a fantastic production. And we're incredibly grateful for Miss Waltz and Miss Chauvin's continued commitment to our DCS students in arts and education. A brief discussion of the agenda that's in front of you. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, etc.? Cool. Celeste, any changes? Okay, fantastic.
I don't think I printed my agenda at 1:40.
Okay. Is anyone signed up for public comments? You guys want to speak? Okay, then I'm going to skip reading that. Of course, we'd love to hear from the public, so please, anyone who's watching, feel free to come.
Let me go back there. It says there needs to be an action for agenda changes and approval of the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the agenda for the regular meeting. Can I have a vote? All in favor?
Motion first.
Motion. Oh, shit. Motion. Got a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Cool. Snuck another vote in there. All right. So, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the minutes of the regular reorganization meetings that we had on July 2nd, 2024. Can I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tony and Alyssa. Any questions or thoughts or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Huh. Why she's calling me now. Now we get to have a brief presentation from Schoolhouse Construction as to how the capital project is going. How's the capital project going?
Hi, everybody. CJ Goodwin from Schoolhouse Construction. The capital project is going well. I believe you guys have in your board docs a copy of this report, which was sent to Jeff and the rest of the admin, just as a brief outline of basically the two things that are happening at the elementary school right now, which is the roof replacement through a big chunk of the building there, and obviously the playground that if you've driven by there, you've seen now demolished, and a new shell of a future playground is there now. So I'll talk about the playground first. The site contractor there is just about wrapped up. If you've been through there, you'll see that there is no old playground. The new playground is basically the perimeter has been set with the sidewalks and the fencing. There is a new walk path from the elementary school entrance all the way down to the playground. There will be some pavement that gets finished between what was started today will be finished tomorrow. They'll do the top coat there. Then there are some just outside of the playground fence, sort of down at the bottom where you students would say gather before they were released into the playground. There will be some pavement markings there, which is basically a map of the United States, Foursquare, things like that. So they'll have a little place outside of that fenced area to play. And then outside of that, the playground installer will be coming, and they will install the playground in September. And where you see the dirt area inside of all the sidewalks, that's where the playground will go. I believe there is a talk of a time capsule to be installed in what I would call the playground proper. I know we're working with the PTO or the PTSO. I'm not sure exactly what the acronym is, but working on getting that resolved. And I would say for your group and for anybody else here, we really want to push for that to probably be resolved. And I would say the second-ish week in September, so that we make sure whatever information we're going to put in the time capsule, we can do that. I've worked with Jeff a little bit on size and things like that, and we could probably find a time capsule to buy or find one to make that's probably pretty simple. And that'll find a spot to locate that. We'll leave you guys a map, and you can do a little treasure hunt in 20, 30, 40 years. The roof work is going pretty well. We did hit one snag that over what is now Miss Waltz's sort of secondary music room. They're supposed to be doing some code compliance upgrades there, where they're basically going to build the roof over that. Because if you can imagine it, there is Mary Claire's main music room is probably about 10 feet taller than what is the lower music room. That puts that particular area in what they call a snowdrift zone. And as codes have changed from basically 1970 to today, that snowdrift allowance basically increases with every code iteration. And once the design team says, hey, we're going to replace this roof, they have to do a structural investigation, which then either shows that your existing structure is either adequately sized or undersized. In this last iteration, it's been found to be undersized. So between Schoolhouse and the design team, Ashley McGraw, they've come up with a design. We've got pricing from a contractor. We went through a little bit of VE process, trying to find the right way to, and the right financing of, sorry, let me rephrase that, the right way to do the construction that was basically cost effective. There were some changes that came even out of that afterwards that were partly through the month of July. And so in doing that, we have found that the existing wall where all of our steel connects is not grouted, which means, like, if you can imagine, you looked at a cinder block, there's cores in that. To do what we would do today, we would fill all those cores with concrete. As it stands now, totally fine. But once we do the new work and we have to install the new roof, we have to grout all those cores, is what we would call it. Between that process, finding it now, and then doing some of the redesign for that, we basically don't have enough time. It's about a 6 to 8 week process to do what would be removing the roof, opening the wall, grouting the wall, installing the beam pockets, installing the beam roof, etc. It's about 6 to 8 weeks. I talked to Jeff and Kim and said that's kind of the borderline of whether we would really be close enough to be done to be safe for everybody to return. Doesn't make sense for me to try to rush something like that. It's a good stopping point. We can basically have them come back next year, have all the steel designed, it'll be ready to go, fabricate, and then they can install it in the start of next summer. So that was my recommendation to these guys, and that's what you'll see in my report here. So that's kind of our plan now. The good thing, bad thing, we can start the conversation of some roofing work here at this building, which we've gotten proposals from the roofers. So the next meeting on the 27th, I will come with a recommendation of those couple of roof areas after follow up with the administration here. And then we can decide if we want to move forward and do some roof work here, which would basically happen September, October, November-ish. Those areas are the library and the main gym. So.
And that won't interrupt any
It won't be not interruptive. Like you will notice there will be roofing. We've worked out with AW Farrell at several schools where they come pretty early, 4, 5-ish in the morning, and they'll remove whatever section, let's say they feel they can comfortably remove based on weather, and putting enough back so that kids walk through the gym, there's no safety issue there. It's basically, they put the first several layers down, that's what gets mechanically attached, everything on top of that layer, which depending on roof construction, I think that's a tapered roof. So it's probably gonna get like 12 more layers of insulation. After that first layer, everything's glued on top of that. So there's no mechanical fasteners or things that would be the loud noises you would hear. You'd basically be hearing people walking above you, which in that gym you're not gonna hear. Because that is possible, unlikely, not impossible. We've had schools where it is an issue. We've had schools where nobody has ever smelled it, noticed it, and we haven't noticed it in the school either. So typically what we do there is we'll start that process, we'll check the school in the morning, have conversations with the building admin and things like that. And the roofers know that if that is an issue, whether it's too much or not enough or whatever, then we stop. It's pretty straightforward. We'll button everything up, they'll secure everything for the winter, and they'll call it a day. Or we'll start weekends or second shift. Second shift gets really challenging in the fall because most of you probably know the sun goes down about 5 o'clock. So you really don't have a ton of time, and we don't want to start roofing at night. So, any other questions?
Yeah, the playground,
Yeah.
how is it graded where it's relatively safe? That's in the area that's away from the playground. How did you fix that?
How is
The
it?
pooling.
Oh, so yeah, we talked to the contractor about the pooling. They're going to come by. What you see is sort of the process too. So once the grass is established, that absorbs a lot of water. And so what you're seeing now is just dirt with the green that you see over is what we call hydroseed, which is what's going to facilitate the grass, has the seed, moisture, and the fertilizer in it. Once that stuff sort of pops up, you won't see that ponding. Should we still see that ponding, then they'll come back through. There may be some regrading they have to do right now, sort of based on what's on paper. That's what it's supposed to be like. That said, if it's ponding, it's clearly not supposed to pond.
Right.
They're going to come back and deal with that. But we want to see whether the grass is going to deal with that or if it's something that's actually an issue.
So you'll come back and fix
Yep,
it?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Anyone else? All right.
Thank you,
Thank you,
CJ.
CJ.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there any sneaky vote? Nope, no sneaky vote. Cool.
No, we're good. Thank you.
All right. Next, we'll hear from our superintendent how her first month has gone.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of go this way. First, I want to echo gratitude to Buildings and Grounds for all their hard work this summer. They actually attended a workshop a few weeks ago at Capital Region BOCES, and they came back really energized and excited, and because they don't usually get opportunities like that. And Anand said that they want more. They're hungry for more. So it was a really great experience for them. I do want to give, you're going to see it on the agenda tonight, we have some resignations. I want to do some heartfelt thank yous to some of our beloved staff like Ryan Patry and Nina Novak and Ali Malatesta. We will miss them, and we are grateful for their commitment to our students and our community. Big shoes to fill. But we also are welcoming some new staff. We have Courtney Rafferty, who's going to join our special education department. We have a very spunky Susan Gutmaker, who's going to be our new kindergarten teacher. And we have, I always pronounce his first name wrong, but his last name, it's Grady. I can't pronounce his last name. I know that's terrible. So he is joining our PE department. And then we're actually hiring Jacob Balms as a full-time OT. We found that it was more cost-effective to hire a full-time OT than to actually purchase the service through an outside agency. And now we have his skills and his benefits to push into our primary grades as early intervention. And then we welcome Audrey Helm in our business office as our new deputy treasurer in HR. We're going to welcome Elisa Charletta as our new CPSC 504 special ed secretary. We have Haley Duffy, who is going to be a one-to-one aide. We have Serena Kilberger, who is coming back and join us as our guidance secretary. And last but not least, we have Kelsey Flattery. Am I saying that? Flaherty, close. I was close. Flaherty, who's going to be joining us as Maria had retired, and our new attendant/AD clerk in the secondary building. So we welcome all of them, as I like to say, welcome to the Eagle's Nest. You're going to see also on the agenda that the cost of meals are posted, but we would like to remind our families that we once again are a CEP school, meaning we have community eligibility. That would mean that all students, pre-K 12, have access to free lunch and free breakfast. We'll make sure we get the word out to our parents. Oh, and before I forget, we are going to welcome at our next meeting, they officially accepted the position today. We have a new business teacher. Her name is Colleen Niemensky. And then we have Rachel Lebo, who's going to be joining first grade. New teacher orientation is scheduled for August 26th and 27th. So it's a day and a half. If any board members would like to come and or at least pop in or have lunch or say hello or do a welcome, we just let me know. And last but not least, couple things. So we pulled from the agenda tonight about board committees and what they are and who's going to chair them, because we are meeting with Lauren Gemmel on August 27th. And so we figured let's have just a group discussion about what committees we want, who wants to be on them. I guess I was just, flying by the seat of my pants of what I do every summer. Like in my mind, August is when you do board committees. So I'm fine putting a pin in it, and I think it'll be a great discussion. So our first board retreat is August 27th, and I know we're missing some members. It is before the board meeting, and so Lauren Gemmel, the district superintendent, as well as the deputy superintendent, Elizabeth Wood, are willing to come anytime. They can be here 1 o'clock, and we can do a retreat 1 to 6:30, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I just need feedback from the board so that I can secure their time when they're going to be here. Usually a board retreat, and we'll pause for a light dinner, is usually between 4 and 4.5 hours. So I'm hoping that, I know not everyone is here, but what are your thoughts initially? Can folks do
Penciled the
2
whole
o'clock?
day. Yeah, I penciled the whole day. so
You
it
did the
should
whole
be-
day?
Well,
Yeah, love it.
I didn't tell my work that yet, but
Yeah.
I should be able to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is August 27th. It's our next board meeting, so we're doing our first retreat. And then we will decide when the second round. So our first round of the retreat is usually like the onboarding of roles, responsibilities, communication. We'll talk about committees. We'll talk about my evaluation. And then the second retreat, it will be more targeted. And we'll decide what that works for everyone.
Sorry, you said it starts at 2?
Well, I'm wondering, can you start at 2 or 3? I know I can tell Ms. Gemmel, like, we're shooting for 2, and then I can touch base with Sarah and Avis and see if that works for them.
Yeah.
Melissa, can you do 2? Oh, she's shaking.
Yeah, whatever time, I'll just reorganize that day, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever works for everybody else. Thank you.
I'll figure it out, what I can do.
All right, so we'll tentatively say 2. It's not, it's actually considered a board workshop versus necessarily a retreat when we talk about open meeting law. But the board won't be taking any action. It is just a workshop working with the district superintendent. But I'll touch base with Sarah and Avis to see if that time works for them. And then I'll communicate to the board to confirm. That's all I got. Any questions? Excellent.
Do you want to talk?
I'll say a couple things.
All right, we're now going to hear from the
Yeah.
Assistant Superintendent of Management Services.
Do you want to talk? So last week, we had our external auditor in the office for a couple of days. So the audit is being conducted. They took back whatever materials they needed to review. We anticipate the audit, actually, I know that the audit committee will be meeting on October 1st. It's the same day as a board meeting, so Is it your birthday? Okay.
I noticed
So
there's
we,
another one on my birthday too.
yeah, okay, so we can look at the date if there's another date, but,
Just kidding.
so, the audit is anticipated to be done, a little bit earlier than we've had in years past, so, October 1st was the day that he had available, which is the same day as a board meeting. Also, I was over to the transportation, department today, and they were, working diligently on getting their route information out already, so, here it is, August 6th, and they're almost ready to go. So I imagine in a couple days, they'll actually be ready to send those out. I think that they will probably be sending them out sometime in mid-August. They said it could be sent out as early as next week. So as long as there are no serious changes, we will see those hitting the mailboxes soon. That being said, I said to them today, after seeing the pile of mail that is going to go out, I think that this is the year we sunset mailing out routing information and start using the application or Parent Square to send out routes. Because it is now with our new software and applications that we do have, it's right there at our fingertips, and we can see that route. So this will probably be the last year we send those out to the mailboxes. My other thing I was going to say is that this year, I know that Kim had mentioned this, I'll just kind of echo it, is that the high school now has qualified for the CEP qualifications. So now that both schools will get the same benefit. And while we have to approve lunch prices, of course, students will have the benefit of getting the free lunch anyway. So with the exception of the fact that they can go back and actually buy an entree. So that is that, and that's all I have for you today. Yeah, sure. Correct. They have been. There've been more choices because BOCES is able to offer. They have a lot more resources to offer. Our director. This year, I just heard from Daniel, who we just got back in May. Daniel just started in May, and he's going to offer some more newer choices for the elementary kids because they find that some of the kids like different variety, and they're going to continue to keep molding that into what the kids are actually liking, and that's what I think is keeping our lunch lines long. So we're seeing it. We just keep seeing an increase in our lunch lines and our breakfast lines, and the kids really enjoy the choices even at breakfast. I've stood at the breakfast line and watched the kids go through, and they just have so much to choose from, and a lot more kids are getting fed. So.
We purchased new transportation scheduling software last year, or got a new license, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Is that what helped kind of push things out a little earlier?
Yes. Yeah. Tammy had said today that going through the process of routing buses has been so much easier this year, and so it just enabled her to be able to just. And I saw she had like all the routes all colored, and so she could tell which route was going where, and it's really just it's a much easier click of the button type of thing for them.
And are we going to be able to offer transportation for pre-K this year?
That is the plan, yes. Yep. So and we only have kids going to the elementary school this year. So it looks like we still have a couple buses that are going to be traveling to the elementary school for the parents that have selected to get the transportation. As of a couple weeks ago, we had 28 kids enrolled for the UPK program. So a little bit less than, well, significantly less, I guess you could say, than what we had last year. So enrollments dropped a little bit, but we're still going to be able to keep our 2 classrooms here at the elementary school.
Any other questions for Mr. Rivenberg? Yeah, you got off easy. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, let's do this. All right. Resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the following financial reports as submitted. The ECA report and the general warrant A3 EC1 and the general warrant A4 H Q2. Can I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Awesome. Any questions or thoughts? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Cool. Item 702. Resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the cooperative bidding for health, safety, risk management goods and services for the 2024-2025 school year. The lead agency is Capital Region BOCES. Can I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Any questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Yeah, that's okay. As long as she says aye. It won't get confusing. All right. 703. Resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the listed contracts between Duanesburg Central School District and each party for the 2024-2025 school year. These agreements shall not be binding on the parties until authorized and signed by each party's respective representatives. Bassett Healthcare Network, Shared Services Agreement with Gilland Central School District, St. Catharines Center for Children, Four Winds Saratoga, and Capital Region BOCES Distance Learning Classroom. Can I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Ray beat you.
It's fine.
Any questions?
I actually did have a question. For some of these contracts, are they just in case, or do we have students that we have already? We have students that are using. Okay, thanks.
Anything else?
Well, let me just elaborate. So we have students in some of them, but some of them are also contracts. So like with Four Winds, if we have a student hospitalized, we have a standing contract to support for tutoring services while that child is being hospitalized. So I just wanted to clarify that. So the St. Catharines, there's a student, Guilderland, there's a student, and the same thing with Bassett. So if a child ever is in need to be long-term hospitalizations, we can provide materials to them for their tutoring.
Great,
Does
thank
that
you.
make sense? Okay.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? 704, resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the final AS7 2023-2024 BOCES contract and preliminary AS7 2024-2025 contracts. Can I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Ray. Have a second? Come on, guys.
I'll second. We're making eye contact.
Well, you're over there. Any questions? All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? I remember the third one now. This is good. 705, resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, that the Board of Education approve the submitted contracts between Duanesburg Central School District and each party for the 2024-2025 school year. These agreements shall not be binding on these parties until authorized and signed by each party's respective representatives, and these are about the Centennial Project, because that wasn't in that blurb. Can I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you, Tony. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? This blacktop paving is for what he was discussing around the playground?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Anything? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. 706, the tax warrant. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, that the Board of Education approve the 2024-2025 tax warrant in the amount of $8,980,000, $980,349. $8,980,349. I'm going to read that a couple times.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Math, who needs math?
Yeah.
Can I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any questions? Math is very important. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. 707, resolved based on the recommendations of the superintendent, the Board of Education of the Duanesburg Central School District hereby authorizes Jeffrey Rivenberg, Assistant Superintendent of Management Services, to serve as an alternate signatory for bank checks and other financial documents as required by the district's designated bank for deposits. Can I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, excellent. Are there any questions? You gonna do a good job?
Yep.
Okay.
He's just the alternate. I'm the primary.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? And finally, in this section, 708, resolved based upon the recommendations of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the following student meal prices. They are posted in public content, but as was discussed, we have qualified this year for free lunch for our students in both buildings. And breakfast. And breakfast. Excellent. Cool. I can have a motion.
Motion.
Great. Thank you, Tony. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Any questions?
I just want to say I think this is wonderful.
Yeah.
As well. Okay, now we need to vote. Anyone, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Cool. All right, on to instructional personnel. 801, resolved that whereas one of the major functions of the staffing of our schools with certified, qualified, and competent staff, and whereas it is recognized that the availability of outstanding candidates in many areas is limited, therefore be it resolved that the superintendent of schools shall have the authority, as she deems necessary, to issue letters of intent to those candidates deemed worthy by the superintendent for recommendation to appointment for the 2024-2025 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Fantastic. Any questions?
Yeah, what does it mean?
Yeah.
So, as you know, lots of times, a perfect example is I had 2 candidates who accepted position today. And open meeting law, we have to post the agenda 24 hours, so I couldn't put them on the agenda for tonight. So this gives me the authority. I will write them a letter tomorrow. It's called an assurance letter. I quote this resolution because lots of times, as you know, teachers, it's highly recommended they wait until board appointment before they resign. So this is just basically the board is empowering me that if I feel they're competent and that, you know, I'm going to put their name forth at the next board meeting. It gives candidates a little sense of security so that they can resign and not wait in between board meetings. Because sometimes, as you know, as the school year goes on, it could delay them starting. And I always say to them that obviously in any situation, if in that 30-day notice, if something egregious happens, the board absolutely has the right to rescind their approval, but it does give them a little sense of peace of mind so that they go forth and resign from their current positions. Does that make sense?
Any other questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I think Melissa's in favor. She's waving her hand. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. 802. Whereas the Board of Education appointed teacher Kellen Crawford as a .8 FTE math facts teacher commencing September 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. And whereas it has recently come to the board's attention that Ms. Crawford served in excess of her appointment, more specifically as a 1.0 FTE employee commencing in October 2023 and continuing through and including June 30th, 2024, resulting in payment less than what she was owed to an employee for services rendered during the 2023-2024 school year. And whereas the Board of Education wishes to remedy this inadvertent error and correct Ms. Crawford's appointment, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education corrects the appointment of Ms. Crawford and retroactively appoints her to a 1.0 FTE long-term substitute math facts teacher position commencing October 2023. The resolution shall serve to replace the appointment of Ms. Crawford previously approved by the Board of Education and permit the payment of back pay owed to Ms. Crawford for services rendered in the amount of $9,864.90. Remaining ARPA ESSER grants will be allocated for remuneration. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ray. Any questions?
I have a comment, and only that remuneration should be remuneration. The N and the M are transposed in that word, and they mean different things.
That is true.
It is true.
Yes.
Thank you.
Remuneration.
And the spell check would not help you on that.
Yeah,
because
spell
it's the
check
right
didn't
word.
help me on that.
No.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. 803. Resolved, be it based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the medical leave of absence for Donna Wilkes beginning September 3rd, 2024 until medical release. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
Yep, I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns, thoughts?
Are we gonna have somebody in the library? 'Cause
So Donna just let us know the other day, and we can talk further in executive session if you wanted to, but I spoke to Ms. Marvin today, and she has some ideas to make sure that we have, someone who may be a certified teacher, not necessarily certified in library, to help support while Donna is out. And we do wish Donna well, but we're working on it.
Of course, we wish her well and hope for the best for her. All in favor? Any other questions? I'm sorry, any other questions before I call for a vote? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. 804, the sad part, resignations. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education accept the following resignations submitted. Ryan Patry, Zoraida Alonde, Laura Mata, Nina Nowak, and Alexandra Malatesta. May I have a motion?
Regretfully, I'll motion.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ray. Any questions or comments?
Ryan's shoes are
Well, just,
big,
Yes.
big to fill, so.
yes, I would also just comment that Coach Patry and Mrs. Malatesta and Mrs. Novak, just as my interactions with, are really amazing people and have done wonderful work with our kids, so we will miss them, but we certainly wish them well.
I echo all of that. It's really one of those sad things. Anything else?
Agreed.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or reluctantly.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. 80, well, now we move on to happy stuff. 805. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Courtney Rafferty as a probationary 4-year elementary special education tenure track starting September 1st, 2024 at step 1 of the DTA contract salary of $48,357. This appointment is contingent on her completion of all required coursework and NICED certification. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Any questions?
So, yeah, sorry, I do.
Go ahead.
So, how long does she have to complete her New York State?
So she's actually finishing up her master's right now, this month. She's taken her tests, passed her tests. So what will happen is her coursework will be complete, and I will probably at the end of the month check. Well, she should be done pretty close to now because they're usually done mid-August. I will check to see where she is before our next board meeting, and if we have to, we can still appoint her as a long-term sub on the same step, but she won't start her 10-year track until all that comes into place. So that's why there's that little contingency line based upon certification.
Okay. So the contingency is starting her
Right,
path to
she won't,
tenure.
yeah, she won't start her tenure track until I get official notification that she's fully certified.
But the hiring isn't. We'll
Right,
still have,
yeah, we can still hire her as a
okay.
long-term sub.
All right. Any other questions? That was good, Ray.
What's
All right. That was a good question. I like that. That was good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. 806. Resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Susan Gutmaker as a probationary 4-year common branch elementary teacher, tenure track, starting September 1st, 2024 school year at step 4 of the DTA contract salary of $51,316. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions? Where's she coming from?
Oh. I forgot I was supposed to answer those questions. She is coming from, she has a great story. So she went to school, got her bachelor's, and then got married and stayed home, had the pleasure of staying home with her children for a while. And then she, now that her children are teenagers, she re-entered the workforce as a teaching assistant in Scotia. And then her husband is like an ophthalmologist, I think, or optometrist, eye doctor. And then she's been a teaching assistant for 7 years. And then for the last 2 years, she has been primary at Scotia. And she was just doing leaves. And she will be our new kindergarten teacher. She is so bubbly and warm, and we're really lucky to have her.
Very cool. Excited to get somebody from Scotia instead of the other way. All in favor? Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Cool. All right. Yes. Okay, cool. 80, where am I? 807, thank you. Be it resolved, based upon recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves the appointment of Grady Gowers as a probationary 4-year physical education tenure track starting September 1st, 2024 school year at step 5 of the DTA contract salary of $52,342. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Any questions?
I'll just note that his last name is listed as his first name in the subject.
Yes.
Yeah, I just said that to Francis.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay. You can't see me, that's why.
It's okay. Do you know his story off the top of your head?
Yeah, so Grady comes from us. He is a long line of educators. His mom is actually a principal at Shen, right? Is it Shen? Yeah. Very polished, very eager, very outgoing, young, energetic. He spent 3 years in North Colony, and he definitely has the mindset of put me in coach. He's very excited to keep the feeder programs that Ryan has established. We talked about some of our coaching needs. He has pretty much coached every sport. And we said, well, we are currently looking for a modified football coach. He's like, put me in, I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. So he definitely made a great impression of eager and willing to learn. One of the things I had suggested to him is that, or not suggested, but I said that when he comes in, because he's always had a teaching counterpart in a bigger district, that the instructional coach will be sliding up with him to support him in his success, and he's very welcomes that type of support. So I think he's going to be a great asset. I think that he's young and ambitious and motivated, and he's eager to connect with kids K-12.
Will he be at the high school or on?
He's going to be at the elementary.
Any other questions? Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? All right. 808. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, that the Board of Education approve the appointment of Kendra Shadina as a .5 TOSA for the 2024-2025 school year without additional the other word. Not the one that's not remuneration that Melissa said. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay. 809. Apparently, we're going to find something for her to do. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Kendra Shadina as the district DASA coordinator for the 2024-2025 school year without additional pay. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ray. Any questions? I'm excited to have someone in the building have that position. It's nice.
She's
Okay,
gonna,
I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry.
go for it.
Will she be getting some like official training and whatnot?
Yeah, so what we've, you're going to see in your executive content there is her job description. And so she's actually been working with me. She is such a great asset to the district. Jeff and I are working on, it's called the Consolidated App. It's our title funds that you have to submit and you have to write narratives. And I said, oh, you want a fun job to do? And so I'm teaching her how to write the Consolidated App. Very eager, very excited. So anyone who's been an administrator for a long time always dreads writing the Consolidated App. So it's fun to have a little bit of someone who finds it exciting. But as for the DASA, we've kind of touched base about what the goal is. So we do have Ms. Kramer who kind of does both buildings, and sending Kendra to, I'm keeping my eye on BOCES, where they'll do a district data coordinator training. It's a little bit different than what Dana does because there's some compliance things that we want to get into place. So we talked about that with Kendra, and like for instance, there needs to be an anonymous tip line posted on our website that it would be either voicemail or a Google form, as well as Kendra will make sure that she oversees compliance, both with the 24-hour rule with investigating, the template letters, communicating with families, and really supporting Dana in this process. So right now, the only trainings I've seen are just the very brief ones that are required by the state to be certified. But we are on the lookout. And obviously, I want Kendra to be successful, so I will support her along the way. It's interesting, so Kendra's going to lead the charge as well. As I told her, there is a new mandate that's come out that aligns with DASA. Regardless of when you graduated or if you graduated college in 2000 or 1970, if you're a mandated reporter, every employee who is or will be a mandated reporter has to redo with a new, they have some new guidelines out. So all employees who are mandated reporters have to take this new training, which falls under the DASA umbrella, by April of 2025. And so I'm going to ask Kendra to help lead that charge to make sure we get that done.
Great, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, on qualifications, it says 3 to 5 years of successful leadership experience. What exactly, leadership in what exactly?
She has now officially finished her school district certification, but she's also been, I call them department chairs, but what do they call them here? They don't call them department coordinators. Department coordinator, so she led her department with that as well. And one of the things that we're going to have her do is we pull the instructional coach in. She's only here 2 days a week. And I think for Kendra's leadership and leadership skills, one of the things I made arrangements for is, so instructional coaching is a unique skill, adult learning versus student learning, and that they go through, it's called a coaching cycle with a teacher, where it's an 8-week process. And BOCES has intensive training for internal instructional coaches. It's a very successful program. And so I'd like Kendra to slide up next to our instructional coach, very seasoned instructional coach, go through these trainings so that she can learn that instructional leadership side, right? So many of us who have gone through the administrative programming, it doesn't really teach you a lot of instructional leadership. It teaches you managerial, and that's easy, right? It's easy to manage a building or a district, but how do you lead? So really making sure that we're giving her a well-rounded experience. And again, because Kendra is so energetic, she's like, just anything you want, you know, she just wants to learn and grow. So in addition to learning the global DASA, she's excited to learn the global instructional side of leadership.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? All right. 8:10. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approves the appointment of Kimberly Ross as the district neglected delinquent transition liaison and migrant student data point of contact for the 2024-2025 school year without additional pay. Yeah, we need a motion. May I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
A second.
Any questions? Don't you have enough jobs?
I got the short straw. No, part of the consolidated app, we should have done this at a reorg meeting. We have to list who these people are. In a different district, there's actually, these people are very relevant. And if we're lucky enough to be relevant, then I have some experience working in larger city school districts.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any, anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. 8:11. Be it resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the following appointments. ECA appointments for the applicable 2024-2025 school year and sports season, beginning with preseason practice and ending at the conclusion of the season, including sectional play. All appointments are employees at will, and the appointment at this time does not guarantee employment for the entire school year, season, term year. First off, it's Melissa Gregory as the elementary school STEM coordinator and Mackenzie Ryan as the running club and volleyball club advisor. May I have a motion?
I will motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Any questions?
I'm sorry. Could you explain, it says Ryan McKenzie, what's the additional $803?
Each club, so the running club, which goes all year, is a little bit high. This is my understanding.
Yeah.
Running club goes all year, so the stipend to advise that is the $12.88, and then volleyball club, which is just a season, so it's basically intramural sports. So when we talked about the feeder programs that Ryan had created, these are Mackenzie was willing to pick those up to keep them going this year until Grady comes in or any other teachers are interested in continuing those feeder programs.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize she was doing both. She's doing both.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's fair.
Any other questions? Mackenzie's quick jump in stuff. That's great. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Cool. All right, moving on to non-instructional personnel. 9:01, resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Jacob Balmas as probationary non-competitive civil service occupational therapist starting September 1st, 2024 at a salary of $52,342. May I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Any questions?
That's for both elementary and high school?
Yeah, Jacob, as I mentioned in my report, right, he is coming from us. He was split between two districts in the capital region, and he lives in Rotterdam. And he has several years' experience in the public setting. So we had actually quite a few OT applicants for K-12, but they were all in the private sector or in organizations, private-owned agencies. And Jacob actually has been just in schools, and he's really excited. He's excited about the possibility of pushing in, like I said, with a primary grade. So we don't have as many kids at the secondary level, but he's actually, he and I were on the phone before the board meeting, and he wants to know that if he can be involved in advisors and clubs so that he stays connected to the older kids, not just the elementary school.
That's a great idea.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's cool. And that's certainly a service that we need to get better at in school. Any other questions? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, 902. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, that the Board of Education of the Waynesburg Central School District approve the appointment of Audrey Helm to the position of Deputy Treasurer and Human Resources Aide, retroactive to August 5th, 2024, at a base salary of $48,000 per year. Such appointment is a non-competitive civil service probationary appointment in effect for 52 weeks, effective August 5th, 2024. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Thank you very much. Any questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. 903. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the board approved the creation of a new 12-month position of special education, CSE, CPSE 504 clerical aide. Compensation and benefits will follow within the DSSA terms and conditions. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Fantastic. Any questions? Certainly a situation where there's enough work to spread around. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. 904, resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the appointment of Alicia Charletta to the position of special education CSE CPSE 504 clerical aide, 2024, at a base salary of $48,000 per year, prorated starting September 3rd, 2024. Such appointment is a non-competitive civil service probationary appointment in effect for 52 weeks, effective September 3rd, 2024. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Any questions? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? 905. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Serena Killenberger to the position of counseling clerical aide starting September 3rd, 2024 at $35,000 per year. Such appointment is a 10-month non-competitive civil service probationary appointment in effect for 52 weeks, effective September 3rd, 2024. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool, thank you. Any questions?
Just welcome back to Mrs. Killenberger. I'm sure there are
Absolutely.
going to be a lot of students happy to see her.
Absolutely. That's a big comfy person there in the counseling office. That's great. Personality is what I mean. May I have all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? It's been a long day. 906, resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve that Serena Killenberger to be entitled to 3 days during August 2024 as a counseling clerical aide at the per diem rate of $159. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. 907, building attendance clerk. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the appointment of Kelsey Flaherty to the position of attendance AD clerical aide starting September 3rd, 2024 at $35,000 per year. Such appointment is a 10-month non-competitive civil service probationary appointment in effect for 52 weeks, effective September 3rd, 2024. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Any questions? It's very exciting to have Kelsey back in the building. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Are there any abstentions? Thank you. 908, resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the appointment of Haley Duffy to the position of one-on-one special education aide starting September 3rd, 2024 at $20,605 per year. Such appointment is a 10-month non-competitive civil service probationary appointment in effect for 52 weeks, effective September 3rd, 2024. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? 909, Building and Grounds Appointments. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the submitted list of non-instructional appointments. All appointments are employees at will, and the appointment at this time does not guarantee employment for the entire school year term season. The people are Declan O'Connor, who's not here this evening, but will be helping us on AV. Jake Starman and Louis Rossi, who's been working over the summer. Cheryl Parati, who's another summer cleaner, and Casey Lawyer, who's a full-time evening cleaner. May I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Cool. Any questions? Nice. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. 910. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approve the amended appointments effective July 10th, 2024 for the 2024-2025 school year. It is Deputy Tax Collector Celeste Young and official bank signatures for Amy Skiff, Kimberly Ross, and Jeffrey Rivenberg. May I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? There's still more of this meeting. That's my question.
I'm wondering if there's anybody there except Tony and Ray, because that's all I hear.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? What was the other one? Abstentions. It's getting to be that time, guys. 911. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education approved the amended appointment effective August 5th, 2024 for the 2024-2025 school year. Official bank signatures, add Audrey Helm. May I have a motion?
I will motion.
Cool. Thank you. Alyssa, who is here in the room. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. The CPSE, CSE area resolved based on the recommendation of the superintendent. The Board of Education approved the Pupil Services Consultation Agreement with Colleen Yorick for the 2024-2025 school year. Payment will be paid through federal ARPA and ESSER 3 grants. Whatever it is. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Very cool. Any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. 11.1. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education appoint and approve the following. I assume this is for us.
It is.
School board associations, I'm recommending myself for the Scary County. Does anyone want to do Capital District? Did anyone find out from Teresa what's involved? I'm voting for Alyssa.
I had a feeling it was going to happen. Yeah, it's fine. I'll do it if nobody minds.
You know what I didn't do is, okay, so now we're going to do this again. Resolved, based on the recommendation of the superintendent of the Board of Education, appoint and approve the following. Francis Spohr to the Schoharie County School Board Association. And I've completely forgotten your name. Alyssa.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Alyssa Craig, to the Capital District School Board Association. May I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ray. Any questions? Alyssa,
What do I have to do?
we should find out from Teresa.
I'll talk to her.
I don't think it's very much extra. I think it might be 2 or 3 a year, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the Scary County thing is going to be
It
more.
might be 2. It might be only 2.
Yep. All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right. 11:02. Okay. Resolved based upon. How are we doing this?
Right, so you're gonna just say,
Do we have a different pattern on this one, right?
what you're gonna do is you're gonna ask for a motion to, change this to,
Okay.
resolve based upon the recommendations to Dwaynesburg Board of Education instead of word approve. You could just say commence the
Open for
the
comment.
30-day feedback.
Okay.
period.
All right. I would like to make a motion to change this agenda item.
I'll second it.
Okay. The language is now going to be resolved based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Dwaynesburg Board of Education
Commence the 30
commence the 30-day
Feedback period.
feedback period on the following plans. May I have a motion? May I have a motion for that?
A motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions about that? All right. All in favor of changing the wording?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? All right. So, based on that new wording, resolved, based upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Dwaynesburg Board of Education commence the 30-day feedback period on the following district plan documents: the mentor program, the professional development plan, the district safety plan, the BLT plan, which sounds delicious, the 2024-2025 instructional technology plan, the multi-tiered systems support plan, and the code of conduct. May I have a motion?
A motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay. So in the next meeting, we will see the new language, hopefully.
And just note that, so part of the 30-day feedback period is I'll ask Ms. Miller, our communication specialist, to put something on the website so that a form, if any of the public wants to read through the plans and give feedback.
Cool. Cool. So we are now at the end of the meeting. So we have essentially a motion to go into executive session.
If needed.
If needed, are we going to executive session?
I don't need anything, do you?
Does anyone need to go into executive session?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I mean, we would have a specific set of reasons, but
Yeah, and the reasons are
the
listed.
reasons are listed.
Yeah.
But so I guess then we can adjourn then. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:46 p.m.?
I will motion that.
And I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question
Is that
for you.
is that Chris Lukides
Yes.
back there?
Yes.
Thank you, Chris Lukides.
Yeah, I got emailed by Zach this morning. Nobody's reached out to him yet. He was just wondering what the flow was on that.